Okay, guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. All right, guys, it's Monday, September 21st, and it's 9:36 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get into the news. But first, I want to tell you what happened to me in my little world last night. I was getting ready to record. I was probably about 5 minutes away from recording, and I was just about to get my equipment brought out and all set up. And I heard something outside, and all of a sudden the lights flickered, and they went off for maybe a minute and then came back on. And I thought, okay, well, whatever. It wasn't thundering and lightning outside. There was no storms. There was no reason for the electricity to go off. And then I hear another explosion. And because the first one was an explosion, I didn't know what it was at first. Secondly, I heard an explosion, and the lights go off again, and then they struggle to come back on, and then they go off, and then I heard another explosion, and the lights were totally off. So I waited for a few minutes, and I thought, they're not going to come back on. So I got dressed and went out because, you know, I'm a curious soul. And then I hear fire trucks and police and everything racing down the road. And I thought, gee, it sounded like they stopped right outside here. So I got dressed and I put my boots on, and there was a lot of people standing around out there. So I said, what just happened? And they said, well, 3 transformers all on the same street just blew up almost simultaneously, but it was like one right after the other. So yeah, I had no power last night, and that is why I didn't do a show, because, well, nothing, you know, well, it wouldn't even work anyway. I was going to say, otherwise I would just be in the dark talking, but I wouldn't have even been in the dark talking because nothing works when the power's out. So there you go. But I am here today, and amazingly, the electricity was back on before I woke up in the morning, so they must have worked fast through the night. Anyway, it's all copacetic now, so let's get started. I do have some people to thank, though. And the following, I guess on coffee, if you don't put, you know, a name, they'll just say coffee supporter. So, because I kept thinking, why are so many people writing coffee supporter? Well, it used to be Anon, but anyway. So I've got the following donated via coffee supporter. That's, I guess, the new equivalent of an Anon. Kathy Flowers, another coffee supporter, and another coffee supporter. So there's 3 anonymous people. Thank you, whoever you are. I appreciate it. And HH. Now, you know, that's Triple H from Houston. Heather H from Houston. Yeah, she's a friend of the show and a good friend of mine. All right, and via snail mail. Now, I always get excited when I get snail mail. I'm like a little kid, really. I open the box and I see something there and I squeal. Really, I mean, I guess I probably shouldn't embarrass myself like that, but I do squeal. So anyway, Solange S. from Illinois, she gave me a wonderful little card and a donation. Thank you so much, Solange. And she's been a long time listener. She's a singer. Also, Laylene W., she sent a very interesting letter about Bigfoot. Remember when we did Bigfoot on the show? Well, I guess it's a couple weeks ago now, but she sent a lot of really interesting things because she has seen Bigfoot. So, and her husband apparently was a Bigfoot researcher and had been on that show, Searching for Bigfoot, I think it's called, or Finding Bigfoot or something like that. Anyway, he was on that show on one of the seasons. So, yeah, very interesting letter, had lots to say. And obviously she believes in Bigfoot, and I know a lot of people do. I actually happen to believe that there is something out there that we don't know what it is. Now, a lot of people poo-poo that, but seems like people poo-poo it until they've had an encounter. Now, I haven't had an encounter, but I've known people that had. So anyway, let's move on with the news now, because I know you're thinking, okay, when is she going to get to the news? Like, seriously, this is getting ridiculous. Hurry up with the news. Okay, all right, I heard you. I'm hurrying up. All right, let's take a look at this first.
And perhaps, most cruelly of all, if Donald Trump has his way, the complications from COVID-19, which are well beyond what they should be. It's estimated that 200 million people have died, probably by the time I finish this talk.
Wow, 200 million people are going to die by the time he finishes that talk. Well, I think he's finished now, and yeah, that would be like 2/3 of America would be dead. So I'm thinking that, yeah, he's a little bit off on that. I think he probably meant 200,000, but even really that is not a true figure of how many people have died, because of course we know that that figure includes people that had their heads chewed off by sharks and everything, because if they had COVID at the time of their death, then they'll say that they died of COVID. So really, and most of the people that died, almost all of the people that have died, had several comorbidities along with COVID that made their death far more likely. So anyway, that's Joe Biden for you. 200 million people. Boy, only 1 in 3 people, I guess, 1 in 3 point some people, in 1 out of every 3 people and a bit are dead in America, according to Joe Biden. So if things are starting to stink in your neighborhood, you better start looking around. It's probably the dead bodies piling up. Just saying. All right, let's go on now. Let's go on to this. Now, oh, there's so much ridiculousness happening in the news these days. It's getting so ridiculous. I mean, there isn't anything really worthwhile in the news. It's just all of this craziness. Listen, Nancy Pelosi says we can impeach Trump every day of the week for anything he does. Well, that's why America dislikes you a lot, Nancy, a lot. Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, told Kara Swisher of the New York Times in an interview released Monday that the House of Representatives can impeach President Donald Trump every day of the week for anything he does. Swisher, a tech journalist with left-wing views, was pushing Pelosi to commit to doing more to fight back against President Trump, the Republican and the conservative agenda. The following exchange ensued. Swisher: all right, but I'm going to press you one more time. What is your power to do this? I get the election, but you can get up more. I'm sorry, this doesn't seem to make sense, too much sense. All right, but I'm going to press you one more time. What is your power to do this? I get the election, but you can get up more. You can speak out more. You can do more impeachments, things like that. Do you have enough power? Pelosi: well, we can impeach him every day of the week for anything he does. In fact, for Swisher: why not? Nancy Pelosi: 200,000 people dying. Well, because look, the American people want to know that what we're doing affects them directly. Swisher: okay. Republicans published a brief clip of that conversation. Well, of course they did. Why wouldn't they? And here she is. Oh, I'm sorry.
What is your power to do this? I get the election, but you can get up more, you can speak out more, you can do more impeachments, things like that. Do you have enough power?
Well, we can impeach him every day of the week for anything he does.
Yeah. How do you like that? The Constitution does not say a president can... Oh, I hate when that happens. The Constitution does not say a president can be impeached for anything. Rather, it says the president, vice president, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Pelosi also attacked Attorney General William Barr. Well, what's new there? Bill Barr is a complete henchman. He's a disgrace to the office he holds. He shouldn't even be a lawyer. He should be disbarred. We've held him in contempt of Congress, but he is an employee, and the villain here is Donald Trump, and that is what we have to do to make sure that he is not reelected. Pelosi predicted confidently that if the election were to be held today, Democrats would sweep both House of Congress and the White House. They're living in their own fantasy worlds. Really, they live in their own fantasy worlds. Really, if she believes that, then she needs to be. She needs some psychiatric help. Like, if she actually believes that, she needs help. Anyway, I mean, even today they said to Biden, Joe Biden, my gosh, Joe Bidenism is affecting me tonight. I don't know. But anyway, they said to Joe Biden, they were saying, go home when they saw him out. And they said, you're going to lose the election. He goes, probably. I mean, even he knows he's going to lose. Not Pelosi. She thinks that they're going to sweep the Congress and the House, the White House. Yeah, the interview was the inaugural episode of Swisher's new broadcast, Sway. So, yeah, there you go. That is that. And really, I think Pelosi's... maybe they're all taking something, or maybe they're not getting something that they had been taking. Now, you know what I'm referring to there. Yeah, that's what could be the issue. I don't know. Anyway, let's come back here, see what else we have, because we have more. We always have more. All right, and let's look at this. Yeah, I like this one. And you will too. Okay. Nancy Pelosi humiliated in California as GOP wins special election and takes back House seat from Dems on home turf. Yeah, I like that. I think that, you know, people have had enough, and I think the Dems have underestimated how sick of them America really is. Anyway, Republican Mike Garcia just shocked the world and humiliated Nancy Pelosi on her home turf. He just won a special election in California for the House seat held by Dem Katie Hill. For the GOP to take back this seat in California with all that's going on is a terrible sign for Pelosi. They will spin this loss, but they cannot afford to lose a lot of these swing districts or even GOP districts they stole in 2018. Moreover, Pelosi's performance of late is pissing off her liberal base. Yeah, you can say that again. Just, I'm hoping that's not making too much, but I've got to adjust that microphone a bit. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Yeah, they will spin this loss, but they cannot afford to lose a lot of these swing districts or even GOP districts. Okay, I just read that. Don't need to read it again. They think she gave a gift to Wall Street in the stimulus bills, and they have a point. Pelosi has been promising the left she will get what they want in the next bill, etc. She's running out of time, and the left may be running out of patience with her iron-fisted rule. Either way, Trump and the GOP win. Trump said big congressional win in California for Mike Garcia, taking back a seat from the Democrats. This is the first time in many years that a California Dem seat has flipped back to a Republican. Also, Tom Tiffany beat his Democrat rival big in Wisconsin. Two great congressional wins. From Breitbart, President Donald Trump celebrated Wednesday after Republican victories overnight in special elections in California and Wisconsin. Big congressional win in California for Mike Garcia, taking back a seat from the Democrats, Trump wrote. This is the first time in many years that a California Dem seat has flipped back to a Republican. Garcia defeated Democrat candidate Chrissy Smith by 12 points in the special election for the seat previously held by Democrat Rep. Katie Hill, who resigned in disgrace in October 2019. In Wisconsin, Republican Tom Tiffany easily beat Democrat Tricia Zunker by 15 points for the seat vacated by Representative Sean Duffy. Tom Tiffany beat his Democrat rival big in Wisconsin, Trump wrote. Two great congressional wins. Trump endorsed both candidates. From Breitbart, I'm extremely humbled by this turnaround and proud of the results so far and look forward to hopefully declaring a victory very soon and getting to work in Washington, D.C. for this beautiful 25th congressional district in California, Garcia said in a 40-minute call with the California GOP insiders. Gallantly used the word landslide to describe Garcia's likely win, and Wilson predicted a victory as well. McKeon described the beginning of a broader effort by Republicans to find their way back into office in California, a state the Democrats have dominated for many years recently, suggesting this is the beginning of something bigger, and I believe it is. With 76% reporting, according to the New York Times, Garcia held a commanding nearly 12-point lead over Democrat Chrissy Smith in the special election, assuming that late reporting votes do not change the overall result, an outcome that seems unlikely at this stage, but not final or certain given the peculiar nature of California's mail-in voting system, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This would be the first time a Republican has taken back a congressional seat lost to Democrats in 22 years in California. Republicans had held this seat for many years, but in 2016, Democrat Hillary Rodham Clinton won the district by several percentage points over President Donald Trump, while former Rep. Steve Knight held the seat that year. Despite Clinton's strong performance in the district, Knight ended up losing in 2018 in the midterm elections to now former Representative Katie Hill, whose sex scandals involving staffers caught national attention, was forced to resign, setting up this special election in which Garcia appears to be the likely winner. Well, this is good news, and from what I'm understanding, there is a whole change of change of feeling towards the Democrats in California, and more people are swearing that they will vote Republican. Now, whether it'll make a difference since there's so much cheating that happens in California, I don't know, but let's hope. All right, so let's go on from there, and let's go on to here. I'm sorry, I'm blinking a lot. I've got my eyeballs feel like they're hairy, and that is because, well, it's cat hair, and I get them in my eyes, and it drives me crazy. All right, President Trump and his henchmen have threatened to not accept the results of the November election. We have a responsibility to do all we can to protect the integrity of our democracy. This woman talking about integrity is like a 600-pound woman giving dieting advice. Really. She should be the very last person talking about integrity. Well, no, actually, Hillary Clinton should be the very last one talking about integrity, but she's probably a close second. All right, now let's listen to her because she has a weird sort of glitch here, if this is the one I'm thinking about. So let's, well, make this bigger for my tiny phone people now.
Fact is, we have a big challenge in our country. This president has threatened to not even accept the results of the election with statements that he and his henchmen have made. So right now, our main goal, and I think Ruth Bader Ginsburg would want that to be, would be to protect the integrity of the election as we protect the American people from the coronavirus. And I have faith in the American people on this Sunday morning. I hope.
Look at that. Did you catch that? I have faith in people on this Sunday morning. Like she's trying to, make it seem like she's trying to endear herself to the people. She is so phony. I got to play that for you again. I mean, look at this. Look at this fake smile. All right, let's listen to her again.
And I have faith in the American people on this Sunday morning. I hope and pray we have a vaccine and that will be soon, but it must be safe and efficacious when we do. Not one day sooner, not one day later than that. But the fact is, this administration has been a total failure in protecting the health and well-being of the American people, and it has had an impact on our economy. The lives, the livelihood, and the life of our democracy are threatened by this administration. So again, when people say, what can I do? You can vote, you can get out the vote, and you can do so as soon as possible. 10 states, as I said, on Friday, I started there early for voting, the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Oh, they cut it off. All right, probably cut it off because it's her video and not somebody else posting it. But I think there's a little glitch she does at the end that we'll catch somewhere here. All right, now I'm gonna skip that one for now. Let's go on to this. Yeah, okay, so this is the same one. I am going to pause this video for a second because my hairy eyeball is actually driving me crazy, and instead of taking off my glasses and rubbing my eyes while I'm on, I think I'll just take a little bit of a break and I'll be right back, okay? So I'm gonna pause this momentarily. Okay, I am back, and I went to the bathroom and tried to flush out my eyes, and hopefully it's better. We'll see. All right, anyway, did I finish this or not? I can't remember. Let's go. Okie dokie. Yeah, all right. So this is the one that I think has the glitch in it. It says, what the hell happened to Speaker Pelosi in this clip? Programming bug? Crossed wire? Well, it's weird. So let's just listen to this again. And this is clipped short, so.
I started there early for voting the day that we lost Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. 10 states, as I said, on Friday.
Now, don't you think that's weird what she did? He asked her a question, a direct question. You're not taking any arrows out of your quiver, are you? Because she said, oh, we have lots of arrows in our quiver to deal with, you know, whatever. And then she said, he said, well, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver, are you? And then she says, good morning, Sunday morning. I mean, that was just bizarre. I'm just going to play it for you again here. Like, who reacts like that? It's weird. It's like there was like a glitch in her little brain or something. I don't know.
Sunday morning. We have,
like, even he's like, what's she doing? What's she doing? So I don't know, but there's that. And let's come down here and let's look at this. Peter Lamoureux, this is 18-year-old Isaiah Maza Jr. He's crying because he was arrested and faces 30 years for throwing an explosive into the Mark O. Hatfield United States Courthouse in Portland. Aw, I bet like our hearts are just all going out to him, aren't they? No, not mine. And I'm a sap. So if if there's something to feel sorry for somebody about, I'll be feeling sorry for them because I just, I've got a very, very soft heart. But when it comes to this, nope, not at all. Because he could have hurt people, including himself. He tried to burn down a courthouse in Portland. So, yeah, he deserves it. He deserves 30 years. I think so. I think it's fair. And it also acts as a deterrent to others who might, get the bright idea of doing the same thing. So I'm totally okay with it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm totally okay with it. All right, now let's look at this. Now this is a few days old. I've been meaning to bring this. Well, actually it's not. It's only a day old, but it seems like it's older than that. Breaking, Omaha bar owner charged for killing a rioter who attacked him and his business has committed suicide. Now, this should never be. A Nebraska bar owner that killed a rioter who was attacking him and his business has committed suicide. A friend of Jake Gardner has confirmed to the Gateway Pundit. The bar owner, Jake Gardner, was indicted by a grand jury on counts of manslaughter, use of a firearm in the commission of a felony, attempted first-degree assault, and making terrorist threats after intense political pressure was placed on the city. The district attorney had originally ruled it was self-defense, which it was. On May 30th, the 38-year-old veteran confronted a group of rioters outside one of the bars he owns in Omaha and was knocked to the ground. From there, he fired 2 warning shots and tried to get to his feet, prosecutors said. As he did, Gardner got into a fight with one man, James Skurlock, 22. The two scuffled before Gardner fired a shot that killed him. Well, I really can't say. Now it says, let me see here. Young black male killed in Omaha, Nebraska protest by local business owner. Let's take a look at this.
Oh, this nigga got a gun, bro. Well, that nigga got a gun. Hey, that's not worth it, nigga. You. Hey, they put that gun. Hey. Ooh. Oh.
Well, he was attacked. They were attacking his business, and he fought back. And apparently, the rioter who was shot had repeatedly broken windows at the bar and other businesses in the area. Well, you know what? That's your hard-earned business. That's where you earn your bread and butter. That's where you put food on the table for the family. And if somebody is threatening that, yeah, I would try to protect my business as well. The incident prompted a wave of further protests, particularly after Donald Klein, the Douglas County attorney, determined that Gardner had acted in self-defense and declined to bring charges. A week later, Klein said in a statement that after hearing from local residents and elected officials, he would welcome an outside review. In this rare instance, he added, "I made a decision and I would not change that decision based on everything I know today," the Yahoo report explains. And so Douglas County District Court Judge Shelley Stratman then appointed a special counsel, Frederick Franklin, an assistant U.S. attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Omaha, to handle the case, though they said they expected the same outcome. Instead, Franklin bowed to pressure and dug up evidence and came up with charges. The manslaughter charge, he said, is related to Scurlock's death. The attempted assault charge resulted from the second warning shot Gardner fired. The charge of making terrorist threats is linked to a verbal confrontation that Gardner had with Scurlock, Franklin continued, Yahoo reports. On Friday, a judge signed off on an arrest warrant for Gardner. A GoFundMe fundraiser to raise money for his defense was deleted by the platform. That is sick. It's sickening. Gardner was allegedly planning to turn himself into the police on Monday. His family and friends believed his bail was expected to be $1 million. In a video from Trump's inauguration, Gardner's kindness really shined as he explained that though he supported the president, he also supported the Women's March and their right to be heard. And that is him. That is the man that is now dead, that ended up killing killing the thugs, one of the thugs that was attacking his business. And the thing is, he then commits suicide. So this is really sad, because would he have if he had gotten justice? It was definitely self-defense. But yeah, they needed to have him charged, for political reasons, obviously. And now and then all these people were raising money for his defense, and what happens? Well, the platform takes it down, because, if you're raising money for a conservative, then, they've got to take that down. But you can raise money to let all these thugs, raise money for their legal defense and everything else, and bailing them out of whatever, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars to bail these people out, and they're raising money for that. No problem. But no, they can't. They can't raise money to protect this bar owner who was charged for killing a rider who was attacking his business and him. Unbelievable, the days we're living in. It really is. So let's go back now and let's look at this. Breaking, this is very good news. Breaking, hundreds charged worldwide in takedown of largest child pornography website. Now, this was yesterday, and I meant to bring this to you yesterday, but, the Transformers blew. Now, what that was all about, it's weird, because I'm hearing this a lot, that Transformers are just blowing out of nowhere, and I don't know why. If you guys know anything about that, please let me know, because it's very curious. Anyway, South Korean national and hundreds of others charged worldwide in the takedown of the largest darknet child pornography website funded by Bitcoin. Dozens of minor victims who were being actively abused by site users rescued. Washington, Jong Woo-sun, 23, a South Korean national, was indicted by a federal grand jury in the District of Columbia for his operation of Welcome to Video, the largest child sexual exploitation market by volume of content. The 9-count indictment was unsealed along with a parallel civil forfeiture action. Sun has also been charged and convicted in South Korea and is currently in custody serving his sentence in South Korea. An additional 337 site users residing in Alabama, Arkansas, California, Connecticut, Florida, Georgia, Kansas, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Nebraska, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Ohio, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, Virginia, Washington State, and Washington, D.C., as well as the United Kingdom, South Korea, Germany, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates, the Czech Republic, Canada, Ireland, Spain, Brazil, and Australia have been arrested and charged. Acting Executive Associate Director Alyssa Eriks of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, Assistant Attorney General Brian A. Beklowski of the Justice Department's Criminal Division, U.S. Attorney Jesse K. Liu for the District of Columbia, and Chief Don Ford of IRS Criminal Investigations made the announcement. Children are our most vulnerable population, and crimes such as these are unthinkable, said HSI Acting Executive Associate Director Alyssa Eriks. Sadly, advances in technology have enabled child predators to hide behind the dark web and cryptocurrency to further their criminal activity. However, today's indictment sends a strong message to criminals that no matter how sophisticated the technology or how widespread the network, child exploitation will not be tolerated in the United States. Our entire justice system will stop at nothing to prevent these heinous crimes, safeguard our children, and bring justice to all. And you know who you can thank for that? You know who you can thank? President Donald J. Trump. You never heard of these big rings being brought down before he got into office. So he is ultimately the one responsible for bringing this stuff to light and to heal. Darknet sites that profit from sexual exploitation of children are among the most vile and reprehensible forms of criminal behavior, said Assistant Attorney General Brian A. Benkowski of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. This administration will not allow child predators to use lawless online spaces as a shield. Today's announcement demonstrates the Department of Justice remains firmly committed to working closely with our partners in South Korea and around the world to rescue child victims and bring to justice the perpetrators of these abhorrent crimes. Children around the world are safer because of the actions taken by U.S. and foreign law enforcement to prosecute this case and recover funds for victims, said U.S. Attorney Jesse K. Liu. We will continue to pursue such criminals on and off the darknet in the United States and abroad to ensure they receive the punishment their terrible crimes deserve. Now, what I find interesting is that they also have a forfeiture of the money that these guys were making, probably to benefit the victims, and which was the whole purpose behind Trump's executive order that stated that they could, if you are caught in those certain crimes, your assets can be confiscated. And in this case, they were, and it'll go to help the victims, which is exactly as it should be. Children around the world are safer because of the actions taken by U.S. and foreign law enforcement to prosecute this case and recover funds for victims, said U.S. Attorney Jesse K. Liu. We will continue to pursue such criminals on and off the darknet in the United States and abroad to ensure they receive the punishment their terrible crimes deserve. Though the sophisticated tracing of Bitcoin transactions, IRS CI special agents were able to determine the location of the darknet server, identify the administrator of the website, and ultimately track down the website server's physical location in South Korea, said IRS CI Chief Don Ford. This large-scale criminal enterprise that endangered the safety of children around the world is no more. Regardless of the illicit scheme and whether the proceeds are virtual or tangible, we will continue to work with our federal and international partners to track down these disgusting organizations and bring them to justice. According to the indictment agents from the IRS CI, HSI, National Crime Agency in the United Kingdom, and Korean National Police in South Korea, arrested Sun and seized the server that he used to operate a darknet market that exclusively advertised child sexual exploitation videos available for download by members of the site. The operation resulted in the seizure of approximately 8 terabytes of child sexual exploitation videos, which is one of the largest seizures of its kind. The images, which are currently being analyzed by the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, contained over 250,000 unique videos, and 45% of the videos currently analyzed contain new images that have not been previously known to exist. Now, this is disgusting. And I don't know, I feel so sorry for the people whose job it is to analyze this stuff. I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know many people that could, but I'm glad that there are people that can stomach it enough to bring these people to justice. Welcome to Video offered these videos for sale using cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. Typically, sites of this kind gives users a forum to trade in these depictions. The dark web, this dark web website is among the first of its kind to monetize child exploitation videos using Bitcoin. In fact, the site itself boasted over 1 million downloads of child exploitation videos by users. Each user received a unique Bitcoin address where the user created an account on the website. An analysis of the server revealed that the website had more than 1 million Bitcoin addresses, signifying that the website had capacity for at least 1 million users. The agencies have shared data from the seized server with law enforcement around the world to assist in identifying and prosecuting customers of the site. This has resulted in leads sent to 38 countries and yielded arrests of 337 subjects around the world. The operation has resulted in searches of residences and businesses in approximately 92 individuals in the United States. Notably, the operation is responsible for the rescue of at least 23 minor victims residing in the United States, Spain, and the United Kingdom who were being actively abused by the users of the site. In the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, the operation has led to the execution of 5 search warrants and 8 arrests of individuals who conspired with the administrator of the site and were themselves users of the website. 2 users of the darknet market committed suicide subsequent to the execution of search warrants. Gee, I wonder why. Among the site's users charged are Charles Wunderlich, 34, of Hot Springs, California, was charged in the District of Columbia with conspiracy to distribute child pornography. Brian James LaPrath, 34, of San Diego, California, was arrested in the District of Columbia for international money laundering and was sentenced to serve 18 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release. Eric Wagner, 70, of Federal Way, Washington, was arrested and charged. Now, I'm not going to go down through all these people that have been arrested and charged, because it would take us the rest of the night. Anyway, a forfeiture complaint was also unsealed today. The complaint alleges that law enforcement was able to trace payments of Bitcoin to the darknet site by following the flow of funds on the blockchain. The virtual currency accounts identified in the complaint were allegedly used by 24 individuals in 5 countries to fund the website and promote the exploitation of children. The forfeiture complaint seeks to recover these funds and, ultimately through the restoration process, return the illicit funds to victims of the crime. The charges in the indictment are merely allegations, and all defendants are presumed innocent until they're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt in a court of law. Well, of course, we know that it's still innocent until they're absolutely proven guilty, but, well, you know. The international investigation were led by the HIS, IRSCI, and the NCA, the Korean National Police of the Republic of Korea, the National Crime Agency of the United Kingdom, and the German Federal Criminal Police aided and coordinated with their parallel investigations. The Department of Justice Office of International Affairs of the Criminal Division provided significant assistance. We want to thank all law enforcement officers for their dedication and service. Boy, we sure do. And that kind of, making that kind of, that's huge. Hundreds charged worldwide. Takedown of largest child pornography website. So that is huge news. Why it's not all over the news? Well, we know why it's not all over the news, but it doesn't make sense, really, does it? Why wouldn't it be all over the news? Well, we know. All right. Well, let's go back now and see what else we can get into. All right. And I like this. This is by lifenews.com. Jill Biden, unborn babies aren't human beings. Jill Biden, vote for science. Yeah, science. How do you explain that with science? Unborn babies aren't human beings. Well, what are they? What are they if they're not human beings? Seedlings? Can you go and plant them in the garden? I don't know. What are they if they're not human? Anyway, you see little babies that are only this big and they've got, fingers, toes, eyes, everything. But they're not babies. They're not human beings. And then she also says, vote for science. Yeah. What kind of science are you following, Jill? All right. Now, this was on Twitter, and I grabbed it because I thought it was very, very interesting. And my My hairy eyeball is still driving me crazy, but I will try to ignore it until I'm finished this video. All right, my wife and I stay in hotels up to 4 days a week for work. Over the last month, we noticed hotels are filled with thugs. These are not cheap hotels. Example, Biltmore, which I know is not cheap, Chinese Garden, etc. I asked the concierge at Biltmore Hotel, why are there so many thugs in the hotel? She whispered that her friends at other hotels are seeing the same things. Many hotels are filled with primarily thug-like people. The way they dress, behave, and enormous amounts of marijuana smoking inside hotels. They are not local either. They are visiting from many places around the country. Other cities' most expensive hotels are also filled with thugs from out of town. The hotel manager candidly told me the managers across the nation feel something is brewing. It's like they're in place for something. Managers are terrified to deny their stay. Somebody is paying millions for their travel, room, and board expenses. I asked one of the thugs, "What you doing in town?" He responded, "Changing the world." So I wanted to show you this because I want you to be aware, but secondly, I wanted to show it to you because I want information. If any of you are seeing this, now obviously with this many people, some of you have got to travel for a living. So if you travel and if you stay in nice hotels, let me know if this has been your experience as well, because I want to know what is going on. What are these people in place for? And what cities are they doing this in? So let's please respond in the comments below if you have any information about this whatsoever. Or even, hey, you know what? I was staying at this hotel and I noticed there was a bunch of bikers or whatever. Just let me know because maybe we can figure out. And tell me where you saw them, what city it was, and what hotel. Or you don't even have to say what hotel. Just, you know, that you saw them, where they were, whatever. Because this is very curious if you ask me. And it needs more eyes on it. Okay. Yeah, let's look at this. Sure, why not? All right. Kamala Harris, who has a history of protecting pedophiles, helps child molester get out of jail. Yeah, well, that shouldn't surprise any of us, should it? Now, this is a few days old, actually. It is actually 3 days old. But she refused to prosecute any case of pedophile Catholic priests and wouldn't turn over the files on these accused criminals that her office had from the church. Well, of course not. In a previous article, I discussed how Democrat vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris protected pedophile priests while she was the district attorney of San Francisco. She refused to prosecute any cases of pedophile Catholic priests and wouldn't turn over the files on these accused criminals that her office had from the church. Her priority was to keep the Catholic money rolling into her campaigns as she climbed the political ladder, which has always included being the president. It appears that she's protecting criminal perverts again. It looks like there's at least one more pedophile out there who is free to molest children thanks to her. Back in June, Kamala promoted a bail fund on Twitter to help bail out the poor downtrodden riders in Minneapolis, Minnesota. But she had no qualms about asking people to chip in to post bail for criminals, even though she supposedly had a law enforcement background. The fund also, of course, supports defunding the police. The fund, called the Minnesota Freedom Fund, was used to let accused pedophile out of jail in July who was accused of assaulting an 8-year-old girl. The fund had also helped out a man who was accused of assaulting a 71-year-old woman after burglarizing her home and who still has an active felony warrant for his arrest. There are many other vicious criminals who Harris helped to get out of jail by promoting the fund. Harris, at this point, still has not told anyone to quit contributing to the fund. That's because she obviously doesn't think that accused criminals should have to spend any time in jail while awaiting their trials. Who cares about the victims when you have to make sure the accused criminals aren't inconvenienced? But what's even worse is that her and Dementia Joe want cash bail eliminated altogether. Getting rid of cash bail is the Biden-Sanders Unity Task Force promise, something that's going to happen in the Harris administration. It's who they are. It's what the Democratic Party is now. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, let's go on, because there's more. And just in, GOP Senator Ted Cruz said the Senate Republicans have the votes to confirm President Trump's Supreme Court nominee. Woohoo! That's good news. He's confirming the senators will all vote. This is a huge step for us moving forward. I love it. Yeah, I love it too. And I think he should. Now, there is something down here that I wanted to get to, but I'm not sure where it is. My gosh, I've got a lot of stuff to go through tonight, and I'm not going to get to all of it. I can assure you of that. But let's look at this. Students for Trump. The left hates the fact that there's such a thing as a constitution. Yes, they do. Ocasio-Cortez, we must consider impeaching Trump and Barr to stop SCOTUS nomination. Hello? Can you believe that? Yes, I can believe it, because she doesn't have two neurons to rub together in that big empty head of hers. I'm sorry, she's an attractive lady, but she's not blessed with neurons. And that's just the way it is. So, and also I wanted to show you this, because this is a little bit disconcerting to me. You may not be able to see it, so I'm going to try and make it a little bit bigger for my tiny phone people. Now, this is by Juanita Broderick. That woman has lots of chutzpah. She really does. Somebody needs to check Biden's ears before the first debate. And you know why they need to check his ears before the first debate? Because there's a little piece of plastic over there hiding the wire that's going into his ear that's giving him all the answers. That is not his ear. It is a little piece of plastic, and if it is his ear, then he has a hole in his head right here. So, yeah. How do you like that? I bet you Trump doesn't get that luxury. Well, he doesn't need that luxury, does he? Because he can actually put a sentence together and remember it. And he does just as well off the teleprompter as he does on. So there you go. And this by Cat Turd, and you know I love me my Cat Turd now. Trump is working hard 24/7, canvassing the country to huge overflowing crowds. Biden is wearing a mask backwards, with no one around him, incoherently attempting to read a teleprompter for only a few minutes a day to 5 people sitting in a circle. This is a damn joke. Well, it is, and it's very hard for me to even comprehend it, because I don't see how anybody could actually look at Joe Biden and think, yeah, he'd make a good president. I mean, really, who does that? Who looks at Joe Biden and go, yeah, he's going to make a darn good president. Yeah, he sure is. I don't think anybody's saying that. And while we're on the subject, let's go to this. Liar Biden. Some of these days, his pants are just going to burst into flame. You know what they say, liar, liar, pants on fire. Well, someday. It's just going to be, and that'll be it for him. Biden. Well, you know what? I'm not even going to explain this. Let me just play it for you guys. Let me make it bigger. And it's 1 minute and 7 seconds of pure, unadulterated Biden. I'm just warning you, okay?
Let me tell you something.
Hang on here. Here.
My speech that Trump has said and done, nothing is more offensive than the way he's spoken about many of you and the brave women and men who served the nation in uniform. Those who have given their lives in service of this nation. It's been confirmed by every outlet that he referred to them as losers and suckers. That's what Trump calls those who served and made the ultimate sacrifice.
You are a liar.
Let me tell you something. My son, Bo, served and volunteered to go to Iraq for a year. Won the Bronze Star, came home decorated, came home with stage 4 glioblastoma and died of cancer. He wasn't a loser.
No,
he
but you
wasn't
are.
A sucker. He was a patriot. And all those people with whom he served volunteered. Patriots as well. Just like your sons and daughters and many of you, your moms and dads. Frankly, I've dealt with guys like Trump my whole life. Guys from the neighborhood I come from who looked down on us because we didn't have a lot of money.
Oh, please. He's not fooling anybody. Like, seriously. He thinks he is. He's not. All right, and Oh yes, this is good news. This is good news. Very good news. All right. GOP ready to release report that could sink Joe Biden. It's time for the American people to see what we've got. Now, this is from today, so it's hot and fresh. Senate Republicans are ready to make their big move to sink Joe Biden's campaign and will release their report on Biden and Burisma in the next few days. The report is expected to be a thorn in the side of Biden's campaign and will bring many scandals surrounding Hunter Biden back into the media spotlight. Senator Ron Johnson, Republican Wisconsin, and Chuck Grassley, Republican Iowa, are spearheading the efforts to hold Biden to account. I think it's time for the American people to see what we've got, said Johnson. What our investigations are uncovering, I think, will reveal this is not somebody we should be electing president of the United States, Johnson added to a Wisconsin media outlet. From the Hill, in addition to an investigation focused on the Bidens, Johnson and Grassley are separately investigating the FBI's Russia probe, unmasking and leaks from the early days of the Trump administration. Senator Mitt Romney, a member of Johnson's committee and the party's 2012 presidential nominee, warned that Biden-Burisma probe was a political exercise. It's not the legitimate role of government for Congress or for taxpayer expense to be used in an effort to damage political opponents, Romney said. Frustration between Johnson and Democrats, which has been building for weeks, is spilling into the spotlight, with Democrats on and off Capitol Hill accusing him of funneling Russian disinformation weeks before the election, something he has denied and in turn accused his critics of doing. It is disgraceful enough for the chair of the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee to dismiss the worst public health crisis in generations and abandon oversight of the failed federal response to the pandemic, but to instead subsidize a foreign influence operation against, foreign influence operation against the sovereignty of our elections with American taxpayer dollars, all in a vain attempt to resuscitate a conspiracy theory that hinges on Senator Johnson himself being corrupt, is tragic malfeasance, said Andrew Bates, a spokesman for Biden's campaign. Senator Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Senator Ron Wyden, the top Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, tried to pass a resolution aimed at the GOP's Biden probe, underscoring the tension over the probe. Aides and lawmakers told The Hill they were warned beforehand that there was a concern they would violate the Senate's Rule 19. They were also given warnings while speaking about not violating the rule, underscoring the concern from Senate staff. The rule says no senator in debate shall directly or indirectly by any form or words impute to another senator or other senators any conduct or motive unworthy or unbecoming a senator. It's rarely invoked, but Republicans did use it to temporarily sideline Senator Elizabeth Warren during the debate over then Senator Jeff Sessions' nomination to be Trump's Attorney General in 2017. Well, I'll be looking forward to that coming out. I don't know about you, but I bet you will be too. And I will report it when it's out. Absolutely, I will. Not just absolutely. Absolutely. All right, let's come back here, see what else we can clean off of here. Yeah, this is interesting too. And this I like as well. Why was human trafficking, especially children, ignored before Donald Trump became president? Anyone got an answer? Well, I think we all have an answer. We just hesitate to say it because we don't like getting kicked off of social media, but we all know the answer to that. All right, and this state of emergency declared for LMPD, and that is, where is that? Louisville. Interim Chief of Police Robert Schroeder declared a state of emergency for the Louisville Metro Police Department on Monday. The department has also canceled all off-day and vacation requests until further notice. The announcement comes ahead of Attorney General Daniel Cameron's announcement in the Breonna Taylor case. So justice for Breonna Taylor, we can see this here, and the ruling is coming down from the Attorney General, and so they've already placed Louisville in a state of emergency for that. They're not letting any police take any time off or vacation time, and they are on red alert. So, and I'm sure it's for good reason. All right, and I like this. It says, Chris, the Unrattled, Texas has more acres of forest than California, and currently 0 fires. Same global climate. True. And James Wood responds and says, so here's something you don't hear on CNN. No, you'll never hear that on CNN. But it's true. Just like the forest fires somehow have this wonderful sense of when they reach the border of Canada and when they reach the border of Mexico, because they just stop like that. Weird, isn't it? Really, really strange. And yet, you know, Canada has climate too, you know. So do the other states, like Texas has pretty much the same, well, similar climate. Well, not in all places, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, why are the fires just right there, you know? Why? Yeah, why indeed. All right, and let me see. All right, I just want to be sure that I've got the stuff that I really, really wanted to get to you. Let's see what this is. I don't remember, so. Oh, that's a big one. So I'm going to have to come back to that on another day because it's going to take a while. And let's look at this one. Look at that. I'm just crying. Oh, yes, I had to play this for you. Absolutely, I did. Now, let's make it bigger for the tiny phone people because everyone needs to see this. Now, this is, listen to what they're chanting. Fill that seat.
We will fill that seat.
So, I love that. I wanted to show you that. And you know something else I've been noticing? Trump is looking younger. He really is. I don't know what he's doing, if he's just taking better care of himself or what, but he looks fantastic. He looks fit. He looks young. He just, he looks really, really good. I've noticed that lately. Every time I see him, I'm thinking, man, he looks a lot younger. So, yeah, that's good. We want him to stay in great shape and be able to lead because we're hoping he's in there for at least 4 more years. I think he should be given an extra 4 years just for all the trouble he's been caused by everyone. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there for tonight. And let me just check to see where we are with time. Well, we're 57:29, so that's not too bad. We're... want me to cover one more thing? Sure you do. Sure you do. I knew you did. I knew you did. Let me cover one more thing and then I'll go for the night. And but I'll be back. I'll be back. If the what do they call Transformers? If the Transformers behave themselves, I'll be back tomorrow. Now, all right. I don't remember what this is, but let's just look at it anyway. Might be something that I just have to get to you. All right. So this is from someone called Daypilot. Trump mega CAG pro-life 2A. Why indeed? I think we all know the answer to that. Now that WHO admitted on 8/3/2020 on Bloomberg News that coronavirus death rate is 0.06%, which is under the 7% required to be labeled a pandemic. Why are we continuing this charade? I'd like to know that too. And I bet you would as well. Yeah, it has to be 7%, the fatality rate, to be labeled a pandemic. We're at 0.06, but they're still continuing this charade, locking people down mercilessly. Yeah. So what's up with that? I'd like to know. I bet you would too. And while we're here, let's look at this. This is the last one. Truly, it is. Yes. Oh, yes. This is what I was looking for earlier. Okay, I'm so glad because this is, it's worth the price of admission. Not that there's any price of admission, but if there was, this would be worth it. Okay, let me make it bigger for my tiny phone people. And this You must watch.
The American people deserve a fully staffed court of 9.
The president nominates, and then the Senate advises and consents or not, but they go forward with the process.
What we're seeing here, and I hope this is temporary, is a disrespect for the Constitution.
The Constitution is 100% clear. The President of the United States has the right to nominate someone to be a justice of the Supreme Court. Senate's function is to hold hearings and to vote.
The blockade on filling a naturally occurring vacancy, in my view, is harmful to the independence of the Article III branch.
You cannot keep a seat on the Supreme Court, which represents all of it. You cannot keep it vacant against the Constitution.
Do pretty much everything they can to avoid acknowledging the legitimacy of our democratically elected president.
The American people expect the president's nominee to be given a fair hearing and a timely vote in the Senate.
Every day that goes by without a ninth justice is another day the American people's business is not getting done.
I say to you, do your job. Vote for a Supreme Court nominee.
Instead of just saying the blanket rule is no matter who you are, no matter what your qualifications, because you were sent by this president, we will create a unique rule for you and refuse to entertain you.
One of the most important consequences of who is president of the United States is who sits on the United States Supreme Court.
If you want to stop extremism in your party, you can start by showing the American people that you respect the President of the United States and the Constitution.
The American people deserve a fully staffed court of 9.
"2020 Democrats should listen to 2016 Democrats." Booyah! Yeah, this is, whoever made this, genius. Absolutely genius. It absolutely ends the debate because they're all, well, it was the dying woman's last wish that the seat not be filled. Well, first of all, she doesn't own that seat. Second of all, there's no provision for for last wishes in the Constitution, and the Constitution, whoever is the president of the United States fills that seat. They nominate them, the Senate votes. That's the way it's done. It's the way it's always been done. So all of this, we need to wait until after another president is... Well, there isn't going to be another president, first of all, so it won't matter. Second of all, that's not how it works. But, the Democrats are always rules for thee, but not for me. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm so glad I found that because I definitely wanted to share that with y'all. And that is going to be it for tonight. You guys stay safe, stay well, stay blessed, and please keep seeking truth because, well, deception bites, and it bites hard. Good night, guys.